What if I told you that one of the most naturally over stars of the last several years was never truly given the push that the fans wanted? What if I told you that despite getting some of the most loudest reactions in WWE, despite selling merchandise, despite having catchphrases the crowd screamed every single week, he still somehow felt like an afterthought? And what if I told you that the longer this goes on, the more likely it becomes that LA Knight's biggest career moment may never happen in WWE? Because today, we're talking about LA Knight. We're talking about a superstar who got over organically, a superstar who didn't need WWE to tell fans to cheer him, a superstar who became a star because the fans chose him, the audience chose him. And we're talking about why many fans believe WWE has never fully gotten behind him. Let's get into it, man. Whether you love him or hate him, there's one thing nobody can deny. LA Knight connected with the audience in a way that WWE can't manufacture. You can't force charisma. You can't script crowd reactions. You can't create lightning in a bottle. It either happens or it doesn't. And with LA Knight, it happened. The moment he started cutting promos on television, fans paid attention. The confidence, the swagger, the delivery, the catchphrases, everything felt different. He stood out. And that's important because WWE is full of talented wrestlers. Standing out is the hardest thing to do. Yet somehow, LA Knight managed to do exactly that. Without being world champion, without being the chosen face of the company, without having the machine fully behind him. Think back to when LA Knight first started getting huge reactions. The crowd was chanting, "Yeah," everywhere. Every arena, every city, every show, fans were creating moments for him. Not WWE, but the fans, the audience. That's what made it special. Because the best stars in wrestling history weren't always the ones management handpicked. Sometimes the fans force the issue. Sometimes the audience decides who the star is. Many people point to legends like The Rock and Stone Cold as examples of performers who became too popular to ignore. Now, LA Knight isn't those guys, but the principle is the same. The audience wanted more. Instead, many fans felt WWE kept hitting the brakes. Every time momentum started building, something seemed to stop. A loss here, a setback here, another opportunity slipping away. And over time, fans began asking the same question. Why isn't this guy getting the ball? But here's where things get even more frustrating. Because it's not just LA Knight wasn't always winning. It's not just because LA Knight wasn't always winning. It's who he was losing to, and when those losses happened. In wrestling, losses aren't always bad. Every wrestler loses. That's part of the business. The problem is the timing. When a wrestler is red hot, fans expect momentum to build. They expect bigger opportunities. They expect progression. With LA Knight, many supporters felt like they were watching a cycle. He gets hot, the crowd gets louder, fans start demanding a push, and then the momentum cools off. Then it starts all over again. For years, it felt like LA Knight was stuck in that loop. Good enough to be featured, not important enough to be the guy. Good enough to sell tickets, not important enough to build the company around. And that's where the frustration started turning into criticism. Because fans weren't asking for a precipitation trophy. They were asking for WWE to capitalize on something that was already working. One of the biggest criticism from LA Knight supporters has been the disconnect between crowd reactions and booking. When someone walks out and gets one of the loudest reactions on the show, fans naturally expect that person to be treated like a major star. But many viewers felt like that wasn't happening. Instead, LA Knight often felt like he was hovering around the upper mid-card, close enough to the main event picture to tease it, not close enough to truly reach it. And that's where the perception started growing that WWE creative simply didn't view him the same way the audience did. Now, to be fair, Nobody outside WWE knows exactly what initial discussions happened. Nobody knows who likes or dislikes a particular talent behind closed doors. But perception matters. And the perception among many fans became clear. LA Knight was being held back. Whether that was intentional or not, that's how a lot of people saw it. And if that wasn't frustrating enough, things got even more interesting whenever LA Knight spoke honestly about his position. One thing fans love about LA Knight is that he doesn't sound robotic. He sounds real. He sounds confident. He sounds like somebody who believes he belongs at the top. And when he's discussed his career publicly, he's never exactly sounded satisfied with being just another guy on the roster. That's part of what makes him appealing. Fans want stars who believe they're stars. But here's where the debate begins. Every time LA Knight voiced confidence in himself or hinted that he deserved more, many fans felt like his momentum somehow stalled afterward. Again, nobody can prove cause and effect, but that's the perception that developed. And in wrestling, perception often becomes reality in the eyes of the audience. And the result, more frustration, more debates, more fans wondering if LA Knight would ever fully commit. Which brings us to the biggest question of all. Should LA Knight stay in WWE or should he eventually test the waters elsewhere? Because let's be honest, time matters. LA Knight isn't a rookie. He's already proven he can talk. He's already proven he can connect. He's already proven he can draw reactions. At some point, the conversation shifts from potential opportunity. And that's why some fans look at AEW and wonder what could happen. Imagine LA Knight arriving with complete freedom on the microphone. Imagine fresh rivalries. Imagine an entire company built around capitalizing on his strengths instead of trying to fit him into a specific mold. Would he become a world champion? Would he be one of the biggest stars, one of the company's biggest stars? Nobody knows. But it's fascinating to question it. Because if there's one thing LA Knight has proven throughout his career, it's that people pay attention when he's given the chance. At the end of the day, LA Knight's story is one of the most interesting stories in modern wrestling. Not because he failed, not because he wasn't talented, but because so many fans believe he should have accomplished even more. Maybe WWE eventually gives him the push everyone has been waiting for, which I doubt. Maybe they don't. Maybe he stays. Maybe he leaves. But one thing is undeniable. Years later, fans are still talking about him. They're still chanting his catchphrases. They're still demanding more. And that tells you everything you need to know. LA Knight didn't become popular because a company told fans to cheer. He became popular because the fans chose him. And in professional wrestling, that's the hardest thing to achieve. But if you guys enjoyed this video, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. Do you think LA Knight should stay in WWE or would he be a bigger star in AEW? I appreciate you guys watching, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.